Lil Dagover was born Marie Antonia Siegelinde Martha Seubert in September 1887, and she died in January 1980. She was a German actress whose film career spanned between 1913 and 1979. She was one of the most popular and recognized film actresses in the Weimar Republic. She is notable for her ambition and how hard she worked both in the Weimar Republic and the Third Reich. She was born in Maduin, Java, Dutch East Indies, now Indonesia, to German parents. Some sources inaccurately give her birth name as Marta Maria Lilitz. Her father, Adolf Karl Ludwig Moritz Seubert, born in Karlsruhe, Baden, Germany, was a forest ranger in the service of the Dutch colonial authorities. She had two siblings. Java provided some of the coffee beans that would get Weimar Germany so attached to coffee, and you can learn more about the Weimar Republic in its video on this channel. Lil's mother died in 1897 when she was 10 years old, after which she returned to Germany, where she lived with relatives in Tübingen. She was educated at boarding schools in Baden-Baden, Weimar, and Geneva, Switzerland. Orphaned at the age of 13 from the loss of her father, she spent the rest of her adolescence with friends and relatives. After completing her education, she pursued a career as a stage actress around the principal cities of Europe. In 1907, craving stability, at the age of 20, she married actor Fritz Gustav Joseph Daghofer, who was 15 years her senior. The couple had a daughter, Ava, born in 1909, and they divorced a decade later in 1919. Ava married Hungarian director Géza von Radbányi in 1930, and she died in 1982, right after her mother. Lil began using a variant of her husband's surname as a professional moniker. She changed the spelling of Daghofer to Dagover, and used the first name Martha in short films. She made her screen debut in a 1913 film by director Louis Held. During her marriage to Fritz Daghofer, she was introduced to several notable film directors, including Robert Wiene and Fritz Lang. Lang cast Dagover in the role of Otaki-san in the 1919 exotic drama Harakiri, which proved to be Dagova's breakout role, and it reflected the obsession and appreciation of Japanese aesthetics in Europe at the time, likely inspired in part by Oscar Wilde's love for blue and white china in the yellow 1890s. Indeed, Lady Windermere's Fan, the German Oscar Wilde production of 1935, starred Lil. You can learn more about Wilde in his videos on this channel. As early as 1913, a photographer in Weimar persuaded Lil to perform Indian dances in front of the camera. The film was produced in a production by the photographer and photography pioneer Louis Held, called The Snake Dance of 1913. With these photographs, the director Robert Wiene made them available to film producers and directors in Berlin, effectively shopping Lil around. Weimar film had a terrible reputation, which you can learn about in the Anita Berber video on this channel. But with boarding school educated Lil, it seems the studios wanted to make films classier and more appealing. For this purpose, it was in countless German language cinema productions, embodied in countless German language cinema productions, that the role of the gallant lady, be it as empress, noblewoman, artist, or entrepreneur's wife, was Lil's. For Lil's part, she never stooped to nudity on camera that we know of, and seemed to prefer historic pieces, starring as Empress Sissi, whom you can learn about on this channel, for example. In 1919, she was directed by Robert Wiene in the German expressionist horror classic The Strange Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, from a script by Karl Mayer and Hans Janowitz, opposite actors Werner Krauss and Conrad Veidt. This remains her most popular part. Long directed Dagover in 3 more films: 1919's Spiders, 1921's Destiny and Behind the Wall, and 1922's Dr. Mabuza der Spieler. Her roles were complex. She was expected to deal with symbolism, life and death, and Faustian themes. By the early 1920s, Lil Dagover was one of the most popular and recognized film actresses, appearing in motion pictures by prominent Weimar Republic directors like F.W. Murnau, Lothar Mendes, and Karl Froelich. In 1925, she made her stage debut under the direction of Max Reinhardt. Her large eyes, dark hair, and small mouth made her easily recognizable. In the following years, she played in Reinhardt's Deutsches Theater in Berlin and also at the Salzburg Festival. In 1926, she married film producer Georg Witt, 12 years her junior, who produced many of her future films. The couple remained married until Witt's death in 1973. Lil's film career in German cinema through the 1920s was prolific. She made over 40 films and appeared opposite such actors as Emil Jannings, Nils Olaf Chrysander, Willy Fritsch, Laya Deputy, Bruno Kastner, and Xenia Desny. She also made several films in Sweden for directors Olaf Molander and Gustav Molander. She also appeared in several French silent films. Her last film appearance in the 1920s was in the 1929 Henri Facourt-directed French silent film Monte Cristo, opposite Jean Angelo and Marie Glory. In 1931, she signed a contract with the American Warner Brothers and traveled to and from the United States, but never really made an impact in America. With the advent of talkies, she ceased making foreign films due to her preference for the German language and appeared only in German productions. With the exception of one English-language American film, the Michael Curtiz-directed drama The Woman from Monte Carlo of 1932, which co-starred actor Walter Huston. This was shot on location in the United States. It seems this was supposed to be her blockbuster American film, as she was billed as the woman who thrilled Paris with her fashions and Vienna with her entertainment. But this 1932 film seemed to be more popular in France than the United States, where it inspired a sequel, Sacrifice of Honor. After her return to Germany and the rise of the Third Reich in retaliation to the degeneracy of the Weimar Republic in 1933, Lil avoided overt political involvement. She generally appeared in popular costume dramas, musicals, and comedies during World War II. The change from foreign source material to purely German must have been enjoyable for her, and she starred in Schiller plays and biopics about German figures, including the mayor of Vienna in 1943's Wien 1910. In 1937, she received the State Actress Award. In 1944, she was awarded the War Merit's Cross for entertaining Wehrmacht troops on the Eastern Front in 1943 and on the German-occupied Channel Islands of Jersey and Guernsey in 1944. While Dagover's films of the period were decidedly apolitical, she was known to be one of Adolf Hitler's favorite film actresses. Dagover is known to have been a dinner guest of Hitler's on several occasions. So why would Hitler appreciate Dagover of all Weimar actresses? Dagover was certainly the hardest working and had one of the largest filmographies. She also seemed focused on comedy after being orphaned at a young age. She could have easily descended into Weimar debauchery, but instead focused on her roles. She had quite the range from Chekhov melodramas to Tolstoy novella adaptations to German biographical pictures, which Hitler probably appreciated. As much as they kvetch otherwise today, Hollywood worked with Nazi Germany and seemed happy in the arrangement. 1936's Final Accord, or Final Chord, sometimes anglicized Schlussakkord, is a German film melodrama of the Nazi period, the first melodrama directed by Detlef Sierck, who later had a career in Hollywood under the name Douglas Sirk. He specialized in melodramas. It was made under contract for Universum Film AG UFA, and it starred Dagover and premiered in 1936. After the defeat of Nazi Germany, which required the effort of over 9 countries and atomic bombs, Dagover continued to appear in West German films. But the source material returned to its globalism, and she starred in Chekhov productions in Berlin in 1947. In 1948, she starred in the anti-Nazi drama Gasperi's Sons. This film follows the disintegration of a German family living under National Socialism. Her most internationally popular film of the post-World War II era is the 1959 Alfred Wiedemann directed adaptation of the 1901 Thomas Mann novel Buddenbrooks, but her television appearances also remain popular. From 1950 onwards, most of her films were in line with the trend of the cinematic era: cheerful, buoyant, uncomplicated, and completely apolitical German homeland films with which she grew into the role of the elderly lady. In 1960, Dagover began appearing in numerous West German television roles in addition to continuing to perform in film. She also starred in various plays for radio. In 1973, she starred in the Academy Award-nominated and Golden Globe winner for the Best Foreign Language Foreign Film of 1973, The Pedestrian. The Pedestrian was directed by Austrian actor-director Maximilian Schell and featured international former early silent film peers Peggy Ashcroft, Kathy Hack, Elizabeth Bergner, Elsa Wagner, and Françoise Rosé. Her last film role was at the age of 91 in the 1979 Maximilian Schell directed and produced drama Tales from the Vienna Woods. In an interesting point for the continuation of film through time, Dagover's career never really faltered from World War II. In 1962, she was awarded the Bundesfilm Prize. In 1964, she was awarded the Bambi Annual Television and Media Award and the Cross of Merit of the Federal Republic of Germany in 1967. In 1979, she published her autobiography, Ich war die Dame, I Was the Lady. She died at the age of 92 in January 1980 in Munich, Bavaria. She lived within walking distance to the Bavarian film studios where she worked. She was buried at the Waldfriedhof Grunwald Cemetery near Munich alongside her second husband, Georg Witt. In 1995, in Berlin, the Lil Dagover Gasse street is named after her, and it is just a few streets away from Fritzlangstrasse, named for her former boss. The Lil Dagover Ring in Grunwald also bears her name. The press wrote, Lil Dagover was one of the brilliant actresses of the 20th century, both on stage and in film. In the silent film, she enraptured beauty, archetype of the mysterious woman, the medium, or the mad woman, the Indian goddess, the Spaniard, cocotte, princess. Later, her image changed to the image of the lady of a better society, which with a slight glance and gracious smile, no star pressed the bourgeois longing for the good, true, beautiful, as perfect as she. In September 1938, the Berlin Filmwelt wrote, The face of Lil Dagover has its impressive balance and noble silence. In its imperishable charm and eloquence, the same remained. What could be the cause of even increased admiration purely inwardly is the calm glow and the suggestive charisma of her personality. It almost seems as if Lil Dagover has reached the maturity that had nothing to do with a quieter perfection of her artistic personality, because this personality was balanced from the very beginning and was fixed. The cheerful seriousness and the painful dreaminess, the overflowing goodness and the tender restraint, the deep inner play and the calm and yet so impressive power of the expression has remained the same. You have experienced technical perfection insofar as acting skills expanded, but these are in the experience, and in terms of the power of talent, it has remained the same from the beginning. This indicates the inner balance of a being who has been able to preserve beautiful human values. This is also the secret of the young people who have found themselves in the features of this face and in the deeper expression of her playing.